Hey, hi YouTube. I hope you all guys are doing great. In this video, I am going to teach you about promptfoo. So together we will explore promptfoo, and I will also show you how you can use promptfoo in your LLM application development journey. For disclaimer, whatever features promptfoo provide, it doesn't mean that you can't make it or perform it programmatically. Uh, it can be because initially even I as a LLM application developer, I was also using all these features by programmatically, but if it something comes with as a package or a CLI for doing all the stuff that you are doing manually, so it's better to give it a try. So I will highly suggest to all GenAI developer or LLM application developer to use promptfoo, and definitely I will show you what actually promptfoo is and why should you use it, and at the end you can decide whether you should use it or not. From my side, it is a very useful thing for all the LLM application developers out there. So first of all, we will cover what actually promptfoo is. Then we will see what are the features of promptfoo, why to use promptfoo, and then we will see the demo part where I will show you how you can automate the testing process of promptfoo with several models, LLM models side by side, and you can compare them. And at the end, how we can integrate it into RAG. Okay, because most of the LLM applications revolve around RAG applications, and it's not like just you have a notebook and you are done with your LLM application. Definitely there are a lot of modules, there are a lot of places where you place your LLM models, there are a lot of prompts. So definitely whenever you are having a quite complex application, I will show you how you can test it. Okay, or automate your testing process. Okay, so let's see what actually promptfoo is. So promptfoo is a tool designed to test, evaluate and optimize LLM models, prompts, agents and the RAG pipelines. It provides a systematic approach to prompt engineering, enabling developers to build reliable prompts and models with benchmarks specific to their use case. So there are a lot of capabilities like systematic testing. Okay, if you are into this domain for this LLM application development journey, then definitely a lot of time you might have faced you have to do a lot of manual testing, or maybe you are running a for loop and testing all the prompts and just manually seeing the quality of your the response. It's a bit tedious and it's not a correct approach. So for systematic testing you can use promptfoo, which has a lot of asserts like contains, equals, so it's quite easy for systemizing your testing. Okay, so you can evaluate the prompts and models using the predefined test cases. Then model comparison, like compare performance across different LLMs like GPT, Claude, Gemini or Llama models. They provide a lot of models to use. Then easily configurable, it just uses a YAML file or CSV file to set up the evaluations. Then a very important part which I like a lot about them, which is the assertion. Okay, so this was I was talking about it. So validate outputs with various assertion types. Like various assertion means in the context of promptfoo, it refers to various ways you can validate the output generated by LLM models. Assertions are conditions or checks that you define to ensure the outputs meet specific criteria. These validations help in systematically verifying that the prompts are working correctly and producing the desired results, like equals to, contains, regex. These all are assertions. Like let's suppose you have developed an LLM application, okay, and you have developed an LLM application for a company. Let's suppose it is a ABC company, and let's suppose it's maybe let's suppose a beekeeping company. Okay, now if someone is coming to your application and asking about what is ABC company, okay, then definitely in the response this word beekeeping must be there. Okay, it should be contains the whatever response you are getting, it should contain this word. So this is one of the assertion. So in this way you can validate, like let's suppose you are using any LLM model or some prompts to reach to this answer. Okay, if your answer, if your final response is not containing this substring, then definitely the LLM model you should change it, or the prompt you need to improve it. So in this way the assertions helps a lot. It's not just about contains, it also checks to the filters, like it should not contain child abuse and a lot of different things which I will show, and then definitely it also contains like what is the confidence of the answer, and a lot of different assertions are there which we will be seeing in a moment. Then it also has a CLI, and it comes as a um, like package, and also you can run it on CLI. Then it provides a web viewer, so it's very handy and useful. Like you can view and compare results on a web view, on a like a web page. Okay, now why should we use it? Okay, there are many different ways to evaluate the prompts. Why we should consider promptfoo? So first is developer friendly. Like promptfoo is fast with quality of life features like live reloads and caching. It's like originally it was built for LLM applications serving over 10 million users in production. So the tool is flexible and can be adapted to many setups. Simple and declarative test case, it defines evals without writing code or working with heavy notebooks. So, and also you can use it in Java or JavaScript or any other language. Its built-in share functionality and web viewer for working with teammates is quite impressive, and it's open source. So LLM evals are commodity, and it should be served like 100% open source projects with no strings attached. So whenever you are developing LLM applications, definitely in where you are creating RAG based application, the data is very important. Okay, a lot of time the data is private, so definitely you don't want the data to be in on going to another server. So it should be in your own system only, and this is what actually promptfoo is. So it is private. The software runs completely on your local machine. So the evals run on your machine, and it talks directly to the LLM. So it's quite a very good thing for this promptfoo. And you can also use your custom models to test the whole test cases with using promptfoo. So this was it about promptfoo, where we have seen about introduction, features, and why to use. Now let's see the most interesting part, which is the demo part. Okay, so let's go to the notebook. So not notebook, the VS Code, where I have just created an environment file where I have just stored my OpenAI key. Definitely whatever models you are going to test, the key should be there. Okay, because you are going to invoke the model, so definitely you need the key. Then there is a notebook which doesn't contain anything, so I'm not going to talk a lot about it. So, and also there is a just a virtual environment I have created, where I have installed my basic things, which definitely a langchain developer, LLM developer needs, like a langchain community, different things. Okay, if you don't know about all these things, you can watch my langchain series. Okay, now let's see how we can run it. Okay, so I'm inside my virtual environment, so we should install promptfoo. So you can use npm or npx. I'm using npx because I don't want to store all these things and all the promptfoo data on my local. You can also use npm, so npm latest init. So let's give it a run. So we are going to install the promptfoo. So once it is installed, I can resume the video. Okay, so here it is asking what do you like to do, whether you want to improve the prompt, model performance, RAG, or improve chain or third performance. I am not sure yet. So if you are wanting to, you can scroll down using up and down key, or whether if you are not sure, just press the enter. Now what model you want to use? So I just want to, I'm not sure at this moment, so I will choose that later. So it has created, like, see, it has created promptfoo config.yaml. So if you go inside it, here you can see a basic YAML file. Okay, it's quite simple. Okay, there is nothing a lot here. Okay, so it's quite simple. Okay, now we can run the eval, but it's maybe you find this this config file a bit tricky. So let me delete it and let me create just this YAML file by myself to show you. Okay, so prompts, definitely if you don't know about this YAML file, so you should just know the syntax, how we declare it. Okay, so in prompts, we want a prompt, or maybe we can just store the prompt in a different folder called prompts.txt. You can also make this prompt, you can also write the prompt here only, but I am just making a prompts.txt just for sake. so that this is how you actually write all the prompts in the different file, and then just you run it in the YAML file. So let's make a prompt like translate my space is not working correctly, following text to French. So whatever text we will be providing, we want to convert it into French, the text to French, and then we are passing the text. Okay, this is a very basic prompt. Okay, I think you would be knowing about this prompt engineering, how we pass the prompt to the LLMs. So whatever text we will be having, it will be passed as a variable, and this whole prompt will be passed to LLM, and the text will be converted into French. Okay, now what are the providers, like what are the models that we are targeting? Okay, so currently I am going to target some models like OpenAI GPT 3.5 Turbo. So let me write GPT 3.5 Turbo. Then we are going to test some more models also. So one of them is GPT-4, GPT-4o, and one is GPT-4. Okay, I'm a huge fan of GPT-4o. Its intelligence, its fast response. Now just test. This is what we want. Tests, and just a quick description of test. It's not needed, but I am just writing it. So description. What should be the description? So test translations to French. It's just a very basic description of what we are going to test. Okay, clear. Then what we want is vars. These are the variables that we are going to pass. So text. What is that thing that we are going to test? So we are going to convert this hello world into French. Okay, so this is our test cases. Okay, now let's pass assert that I was talking about. Assert. Okay, so at assert there are different types of assert. Okay, so one of them is contains. I will show more of them assert in my RAG part, and the value of this assert will be like if you know a little bit about French, then wherever there is hello world, then definitely if the translation is proper, then it should contain this word like bonjour. Even I don't know French, I have just googled it. Okay, so le monde. Okay, so definitely it should be it. If the LM and the prompt is working perfectly, then the translation of this hello world should contain this bonjour le monde. Okay, I hope I have pronounced it correctly. Now if we have to evaluate, then definitely what you can do is npx promptfoo at the latest eval, or what you can do is also you can do like we have just installed promptfoo, so promptfoo eval and the file name, which is promptfoo config, and definitely the YAML file name should not be same like promptfoo config only. You can name it anything. Okay, now let's run it and evaluate whether how our prompt and model is working. So here you can see. Okay, so there is one failure also interesting. Okay, so this was our input, which was hello world, and then this was the prompt, translate the following text to French. So this was the text that we have passed hello world, and it has converted it has translated into French. So so here you can see the results. Now you can also share the results as a shareable URL, and also you can view it on local web viewer, so it's quite handy, and it's also looks good. So prompt view. Okay, so it will ask for some permissions, I guess. So it will start running at this server and monitoring for new evals. So open URL web browser, definitely we want to. So here you can see how it looks like. So here the date is mentioned, I guess. Eval run, and I guess it is date only, no? Yeah, it's 15. Oh no. Okay, I guess it's that eval name. Okay, so description is there. Okay, you can explore all these things. Okay, this is the important part that I want to show you. So here the model name is there, third turbo, 4o and 4. 100% passing rate, like 1 out of 1 test case rain. Here it was 0 test cases passed. So here you can also see assert, like we have passed only one assert, which was contains the latency, average tokens, tokens per second, and also the cost. Okay, so here you can see this. This was the description. Test translation to French. The text was hello world, and it has passed. So let's give it a thumbs up. Okay, to pass. Okay, okay, or maybe I can just, okay, so two passes. Okay, so in GPT-4o it again passed, so two pass. So here you can see that the response from GPT-4o, sorry, 4, interestingly the answer was just bonjour Monday. Maybe it is correct, but definitely we want what we have expected, that this substring bonjour le monde should be always there. So definitely it was not here, so that's why it has not passed our test. Okay, so two failed because I've just made it. Okay, you can have added the comment, see the test score, like, dislikes, view output and test details. Here you can see like this was our prompt, this was our output. It doesn't pass. The score was 0 because the assert was contains and bonjour le monde, and this was a human, because it also, like, maybe all this result is like you can also give a thumbs up by manually. Okay, so that's why you can also pass it manually. Okay, here you can see the cost also. This was the, I guess this was the most costliest model, but it failed. Okay, so that's a thing. Okay, it's interesting. Okay, so that's why it's very, very useful. Okay, and I forgot to introduce this GitHub. Huge shout out to this promptfoo GitHub, this great website and great repo where you can see all these things. Okay, here also they have mentioned whatever commands and all things are there. I have also learned from here only. All the assertions are there. Pretty good assertions are, all the assertions are there. Okay, so please have a look into it. I will provide this link into the comment or in the description below. Okay, so a very basic thing. Okay, now let me just close it. Okay, clear it. Okay, now let's see how we can use it in our RAG pipeline. Okay, so now here comes the most interesting part, where we are going to integrate promptfoo with our RAG application. So if you don't know about RAG applications or the retrieval augmented generation, then it's very tough to cover the whole thing in this video only. I have already created a video on this RAG topic, and I hope if you have come this long, then definitely you should be knowing about this RAG. Okay, so just to give you a basic introductions, like RAG enriches the language model prompts with relevant data by converting the user prompts into an embedding and fetching matching documents from a vector store. The LLM is then called with these documents as a part of the prompt. Evaluating RAG applications involves assessing both document retrieval and LLM output generation separately by pinpoint issues effectively. Okay, so basically let me give you what actually RAG is. Just a very basic thing. Let's suppose you are having a lot of private documents or whatever docs you are having. You just convert into two vectors, and these vectors are stored into the vector store. Okay, now this vector store will be served as your source of data. Then you will user will pass the user query, and something will happen, and you will get the response. Okay, now here comes the two things. First, whenever you ask a query, the vector store gives some retrieved documents. Okay, so it retrieves some things. Okay, and this retrieved documents is then passed to the LLM. Okay, with this query. So like you tell to the LLM that see, I have a context, I have a question, you have to use, or you have to apply your reasoning and then answer it in a human manner. Okay, so then you will get the response. So there are two things which play a very, very major role. That first one is the retrieval, how good it is retrieving, and second is the LLM, how better this LLM is performing. Okay, so we have to evaluate this, both the things. Okay, now how we can use promptfoo here. First one is the basic YAML that I have shown you. So there we can pass a field like context. So you have a context, and now the answer should contain some words from this the answer to the query should contain some context, and you can have some context relevance, a lot of different asserts that we will be talking. But for your client knowledge, and you might be also seeing it, that This retrieve documents is dynamic part. It's not static part. You can also make it static part by just hard coding it, but depending upon the user query, the retrieve document can be different for different vector stores, because all the vector stores are not that good. Okay, so this is basically a dynamic part. So we have to just be clear about this so that we can create this dynamic part, and then we can automate this testing process. Okay, so first of all, let's go to the notebook, and definitely I'm not going to show you to create a whole RAG application here. I have just taken a old one of my old RAG, just a basic RAG application, just one Python a notebook for it, and I have just created it just for you. Okay, so let's see. So this is what RAG example looks like. So we have just the environment variables, and then this is what our text look like. So this is the data source, and definitely we are not going to, first of all, we are going to store this text into the vector store. It's not like directly we tell to the LLM, okay, take this whole txt and just answer it. Okay, it's not like that. Okay, definitely here the file is very less, so you can also pass it, because a lot of now models are having very huge context, like 200k tokens for Claude high models, and also like the whole the context size has increased. But we are going to use the vector store. Okay, the retrieval will just retrieve the important section. Then we are having prompt1.txt. This is the prompt that we are going to pass. Like initially there was another prompts.txt file which we were using. Okay, so here you are incorporate internet chat assistant. The user has asked the following question, so we will be passing the question. You have retrieved some documents, so this will be the retriever part. So whatever retrieval we retrieve, we will pass it here. Think carefully and respond to the user concisely and accurately. As simple as that. Then we also have our RAG application. Okay, so we are using basic imports like langchain community, OpenAI, text splitters, and langchain OpenAI that I have already installed for you. Okay, so this is the model that we are using in our RAG chatbot. This is the pixel fog, the text, and the encoding is UTF-8. So we are loading all the documents. Then we are using text splitter. So if you don't know about text splitter and all these things, chunkings and all things, you can watch on some of my videos, which is very effective for creating RAG based application. Then we are using embeddings, and we are using FaceDB. So if you don't know about FaceDB, you can learn about it. Okay, it's very good in memory vector store. Then this is a very basic function to retrieve the documents. So we are using a retriever. So this DB will be used as the vector store, and we are retrieving something. Okay, now why I am using retriever.invoke. So you should watch my LCEL video. Okay, because now everything has the invoke, like LLM.invoke, retriever.invoke, chain.invoke, everything. Okay, so then we are retrieving the page content. Okay, so whatever docs it will retrieve, we are just returning it. So we are just getting the context. Okay, so we were having this prompt, and it was for this part, for the context part, we are just creating the context. As simple as that. Okay, now this is the part where we will be setting the input variables. So okay, so the question will be otherwise question, and context will be retrieve docs questions, and this will return a context. Simple. Okay, this function will be called from our the YAML file. Okay, so this is the YAML file that I have created. So the prompts will be prompts1.text, because this is the text file. So this is the important part. Okay, let me take it here. So the providers that we want to test is GPT 3.5 Turbo, 4, and 4.0. Okay, test. So description is, again, it's not important, but we are using evaluate response for pixel fox games query. Okay, and this file is just a private data. Okay, you cannot find it. Okay, I have just created it using ChatGPT or something. Okay, so okay, so this is the where's part. Okay, the query, what is pixel fox game? So context. So where it will retrieve the context? It will be retrieving the context from here. Okay, it will be retrieving the context from here only. Okay, the question will be, what is pixel fog games? Okay, now what will be the asserts? Okay, so the asserts will be type contains. Now we know that whenever someone asks what is pixel fog games, then definitely this should contain this game development company keyword. Then we are checking the type factuality. So the value will be immerse and memorable gaming experiences. I have just designed it, okay, like by reading this document, the text file, okay, nothing else, okay. Then we have type called context recall. So the value should be pushing the boundaries of creativity and technology. Then we should define a threshold, like what should be the threshold for evaluating whether this response is correct or not. Then we are having context relevance, whether the context is relevant or not, whatever it has retrieved. So again, I am making it a bit lower. Then answer relevance, the answer is relevant or not. This is very important, so I am making it 0.8. okay, you can play with this threshold, it doesn't matter. Then again, I have created three different test cases. So one of them is evaluate response for the mission statement of Pixel for games. So this is queries like what is the mission of Pixel for games. Again, where we will be retrieving from here only. Okay, so it will return a context. What actually this function is doing? This is nothing. Okay, it doesn't, we don't need it. So get where, other wheres. So question will be passed into the other wheres and it will retrieve the context. How it will retrieve the context? By using this function, the question will be passed and it will retrieve the context from here, and then the context will be passed and it will return in a dictionary, which will be output context. Simple. Okay, cool. Okay, now type contains, this is the contains factuality, pushing the boundaries of creativity and technology, and then a context recall. This is one of the assert, and the value should be mission driven by storytelling. Okay, and the threshold, again we are making it 0.7, context relevance maybe 0.8, and answer relevance maybe 0.8 again. And again, this is a new assert which is similar. Again, I will explain all this assert one by one. Okay, let me cover some of them. Okay, maybe like there are different evaluation criteria for RAG pipelines. First one is output based metrics like factuality or correctness. So this is one is okay. So it measures if LLM outputs are based on retrieved ground truth or not. So this is the ground truth for us. Ground truth means the truth, like what should be the ground truth for this question. Okay, we know it. Okay, so we have added it. And then answer relevance. Okay, so what actually answer relevance is, I guess somewhere here it was like answer relevance. So assess how directly the answer addresses the query. So what should be the threshold? If you set a high threshold, it means you want a very accurate answer. Okay, then there are some context based metrics. Context based metrics like context adherence. Okay, context adherence, it's like okay, I guess I have made some mistake, or it's just like context recall, and I've just okay, no, it's same. Okay, so what actually context adherence is, like grounding or faithfulness, like it evaluates if LLM outputs are based on provided context or not. Then like context recall, check if the context contains the correct information to produce the answer. Then answer relevance or context relevance, or context relevance means determines how much the context is necessary to answer the query, whether the context is correct or not. So there are two things, context recall and context relevance. Recall means whether the context contains the correct information to produce an answer or not, and context relevance means determine how much the output is necessary to answer the query. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, and we have answer relevance, and also we have similar, like it should be similar to passion for storytelling and connection. It's a very basic thing. Okay, then some moderations are also there, like it should not contain harassment or threatening words, sexual words, or sexual minus words. This is very important. The response should not be containing this, because if you are creating for a mass, you should be focusing on it. Then again, we are having another question, which is who are the key team members. So like this is the question, and it should contain this. Factuality should be founder and CEO. Context recall is this, and we have just made let me just decrease it. Okay, so you can play with this whatever threshold is. Okay, and definitely it should not be this. It should not contain this kind of things. Okay, because that's why we have passed into the moderation assert. And definitely you can check all these asserts in their websites, or in their in their GitHub repo. and a lot of new asserts will be adding in the future, so definitely you can check it out. So here it is, all the asserts like cost, latency, because we also want latency, like the latency should be like less. Okay, so whether it is providing a webhook or not, and it is valid OpenAI function call or not, latency, cost, it should be below a cost threshold, because definitely we also have to focus on the cost, because it's not like for a simple cost you are using GPT-4o, okay, or a 4. You can also use GPT-3.4 Turbo or Haiku, which is very less, like 0.25 for 1 million tokens. Insane. Okay, I don't know how they manage it. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so let me just close it and let's give it a run. Okay, so let me just see whether we are in the correct folder or not. Okay, okay, so we have to move to rack example. That's it. Now let's give it a run to this part. So promptfoo, and what is our YAML file name? It is promptfoo only. Sorry. Oh, my space bar is not working. So promptfoo config.yaml. So let's give it a run and let's wait for the complete evaluation. Okay, so it's happening. Okay, so meanwhile, what I want to just tell you, okay, something happened. So let's see what actually happened. So get where takes one positional arguments, but 3 were given. Okay, so we are giving like 3 things: query, context, and question. So yeah, we are passing query, context, and question. So let me just make it to the earlier one, where we are passing the var name, prompt, and other vars. Okay, cool. I guess it should be like this only, because yeah, var name, prompt, and the question, or in the other ways we are passing the question. Okay, so let it be. Okay, so let's give it a run. So okay, so let's run it once again. Okay, and let's see what actually is happening. I will look into it. I guess it's about this only, like here when we are calling it, we are passing 3 things like in the vars, like query, context, question, and definitely here I have just changed it. Okay, so here you can see success is 0 and failure is 9. Okay, so now let's see what actually happened. Okay, so this is how you can see, like prompt view. It's quite easy. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so it will take us to a web browser where we can see. Okay, so again, so first one was for GPT 3.5 Turbo. Let me make it a bit slower, shorter. Okay, then we are using in GPT-4, then for 4.0. Okay, so why it is this? It's moving itself. What is happening? This is kind of bug or something, like okay, let me refresh it. So it should be in 100% only, I guess. Why is it happening? I don't know. Okay, so the first model was GPT 3.5 Turbo, then it was 4 and 4.0. So this was our prompt. So this was the basic prompt. Okay, so here it was. So first description was evaluate the response for Pixel Fox game query. And the context, this is the retrieved context. Okay, this was the context that it was retrieved. Then we are passing query and question. I think I have messed a bit with the code. Okay, it should not be like passing the 3 vars. Instead we should just pass the context and the question. Okay, so that's why it was giving that error. Okay, I will look into it. Okay, so it should be just question or query. Okay, that's all. Okay, so here we got I don't know why the website is looking like this. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so to fail 3 pass, so expected output to contain gap. So let me just make it, maybe I can just view the output details. So the prompt was this, the query was this we have passed this query, because if you can see here in the promptfoo.config, the first one was this one, what is Pixel for games. So this was the query that we have created. And this was the document that we got from as a retrieved document. So this is what we have retrieved, and this all things happen dynamically when the user query was fired. Okay, what you can also do is you can also pass the context here. It should be hard coded, but it doesn't look good. Okay, it should be retrieving, because in future you may have a lot of, instead of having just this providers, you can also have different vector stores. Okay, because maybe you have to evaluate with how actually different vector stores are working. Okay, so that's why it should be dynamic. Okay, then the output is something like this. Now it should contain game development company, but surprisingly there was no game development company written. Game development was written, but it was not returning game development company. Factuality, it was impressive and memorable gaming experiences, so the submitted answer is a superset, so it was passed. Then context recall, pushing the boundaries for creativity and technology, so it was nothing there, so the recall was less than 0.6. Okay, recall was 0.006 and it's less than 0.6. I know the threshold are not accurate, because when you will test now you will know this threshold. I'm just giving a very basic example how to pass it. Okay, I'm not talking about how the threshold is correct or not. It comes with the experimentation. Okay, so then context recall, so pushing the boundaries and creative technology, so the context recall, it's like less than 0.6, so it's like it doesn't pass. Then context relevance, so it was 1, so it's more than 0.6, so it passed. And then answer relevance, it was 0.83, so it is greater than the threshold 0.8, so it passed. Okay, so definitely 2 fail and 3 pass, so definitely it's not a pass, so I will also, but maybe I observed it and then I found that what is pixel for games, the output was this pixel for games is the creative part, something like this. So I maybe manually have found that it is good, then I pass it. So 2 fail, 4 pass. Now the pass rate is more, so it got pass. Okay, so in a similar manner we can I can show just for one more, maybe for this one, like maybe this one. Okay, so this was the third question, which was who are the key team members at Pixel Fox game. So who are the key team members at Pixel Fox games? So this is a retrieve document, so we have retrieved something like this. Okay, so the retriever didn't work properly, so it was not able to retrieve the key team members. Okay, so this is why in a RAG that chunking and text splitting is very important. Okay, now the output was like this. I'm sorry, but the documents that I have not I do not have provided specific names, so definitely it doesn't contain this. The factuality is wrong, the context recall is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this answer relevance is correct, because definitely the answer is correct, because whatever it has retrieved, it was not able to it was the context is not sufficient to answer it. Okay, then at the end, this is what I want to show you. The moderation, it was 1, because there was no word like harassment, threatening, sexual and minus, so none of the moderations flags were detected. Okay, so it's good. Like definitely this was also not there, so similar assert will also not work. You can just play with it, okay, and you can try a lot of different assertions are there. You can enjoy it. Whether maybe in some application you might have felt that JSON is very important, so whether it is returning a valid JSON or not, so that you can decide whether I have to use this model or not. Like in my journey, I found that Haiku was not good for generating this JSON format, so you can use this part, and for your particular prompt you can check whether it is creating correct JSON or not. Maybe by adding one line in the prompt, your prompt will the performance of your prompt will increase, it will start creating JSON and all these things. Then cost, perplexity, latency, ROGN, WebAC, Python, JavaScript, all these things you can use you can play with this assertion types, and you can learn about it, and you can check whether how your RAG application, your prompt and your LLM model is performing good or not. Okay, so that's it. We have seen a lot of things, like first of all we saw like the introduction to promptfoo, then we have seen features, why to use, and then we have seen how to automate the testing process. Then I have also shown you like how you can integrate with your RAG based application, how you can, maybe this application is not one line, or in this case it is of one page, but in your case it can be a huge one. But this is the main part. You should have a retrieve documents, because where you want to pass the context or whatever in your case, and then just a very basic thing. Okay, so that your this function will be called from here, and this retrieve docs will this retrieve docs.py will call this function called getWhere, and you are passing 3 things. Okay, in your case you can just pass 2 things like context and question. Okay, So this context we are getting from this get var name function. Okay, so this is it. We have seen a lot of things, and definitely if you have any doubt or confusion, you can ask me in the comment, and definitely we can't cover all things of promptfoo in this part, but I have just given you a basic idea of promptfoo to showcase the power of promptfoo, and you can decide whether you should use it or not. From my end, it's a very useful thing, and a lot of advancements are coming onto this promptfoo so that you can automate this testing and see how better it looks like. Just from this boring Excel sheet, you can get so many things like this, okay, where a human evaluation can be also there, and also you can see the you can see how LLM is performing. Like you can see each and everything, like the cost, tokens, latency. Just imagine if you are doing it manually, can you calculate even like the tokens for each question, the latency? No. The cost? No, definitely no. Okay, it can be average, but it can't be this much accurate. So it's a very, like, it's a 3 to 4 thumbs up. Okay, so you should use it. Okay, so that's it. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section, and if you just like this effort, you can just write a beautiful comment or just subscribe. And if you need this all things, I can also post it into GitHub. Let me know in the comment section. That's it. Meet you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Thank you.